Now let's bring in Dr. Zain Chagla, and I want to ask you about Thanksgiving because I've heard quite a lot from folks, especially maybe people who live in smaller towns, smaller cities where the case count just isn't that high, and they think it's safer to meet in small groups in those places for Thanksgiving than it would be, say, in like Montreal or Toronto. Is that a fair position to take?
Yeah, in some senses, there is less transmission in the communities, but it also depends on who's coming to Thanksgiving dinner. If your student is coming home from one of those regions, you have the potential of bringing people into the household that are higher risk and interacting them with lower risk. And so it's important to have those risk assessments done. And again, just because the transmission risks are low, there still is a risk of transmission within these small gatherings, and so it's still important to think about the ways we do it safely, or considering doing it outdoors.
Right. Okay. And so just on that point, and I do want to be sort of delicate and clear that the safest way to celebrate Thanksgiving is to stick with members of your own household. But acknowledging that not everybody's going to follow that advice, how best to mitigate the harm?
Yeah, so I mean, as we talked about, as people go out in their communities afterwards, that is going to be a public health disaster if people start taking COVID with them. So if they go back to areas where there's not much COVID circulating, it's going to be a problem. So those people who are going to, have these indoor events that are high risk, think about what you're doing in the next week. Think about it as if you're getting off a plane and you're going to quarantine for a week, and really try to minimize those outdoor contacts, because even if there is transmission within that household, at least nothing is happening in your community and making the situation worse.
Okay, good advice, and as always, good to talk to you, Dr. Chagla. Thanks so much for your time.
No problem.